Vol1, powerful proof of God by the righteous judge.
So here's your little something to prove God's existence, to be in existence.
Okay, so God's existence to be in existence. Isn't that a little redundant? I mean, if something exists, then you don't have to show that to be in existence would already mean it exists. So if it exists, you don't need to say that it's in existence because it already exists. It's like, there's too many exists going on here. Come on. You only need like one exist, and then you only need to prove that one time, and then obviously it's in existence. So if God's existence is a thing, then it already exists, and then you don't have to show in existence is a thing because it's already existing. Everybody got that? Okay, next part.
It's something that's very powerful, probably my most powerful finding yet.
Finding! The action of finding someone or something. A conclusion reached as a result of an inquiry, investigation, or trial. I think it's pretty clear that he's using the second version of finding here. So there should be an inquiry, investigation, or trial that he'll explain his methodology on, and no, that's not going to happen at all. What? No? Oh, okay. How do we know how did he get to the conclusion then? We don't know. It's just, this is his finding. We don't know how he got to it though. So that's a problem.
So let's start. I wrote this down. So let's start. Human reproduction leads to someone starting a chain, causing stories and laws.
Okay, so does human reproduction lead to someone starting a chain of events that would cause stories and laws to come into existence? Maybe? Like, if that someone is the parents of the child, then are we saying that they're the ones causing the stories and laws? Or is it that the child will be causing the stories and laws? It's not very clear here. I'm guessing that you mean that the someone is the parents, but then the one that's causing the chain to occur would be the child, because that's what started the chain of events in motion that would cause stories and laws to come to be. But what stories and laws are coming to be because of that child? Like, are they going to be an author and write stories, or is the story referring to the story of their life? And what about laws? Are they going to become a lawyer or a judge or a lawmaker or something? Or are they going to influence politics? What if none of that's the case? Then what is that referring to? How does any of this work? In what system of universe does this make sense of the? I'm not sure, but yeah, okay, I guess in certain circumstances it might be the case that this is kind of, sort of, maybe half true. If you look at it extraordinarily charitably, I suppose.
The pregnancy is the world and God the Father.
Okay, so the pregnancy is the world and God the Father. Alright, let's see. That would mean God equals Father, pregnancy equals world, which I'm guessing is the earth. Who's the mother? Don't know, but okay. So what would that change the original thing that you said to? That would mean the original thing that you had said would change to God reproduction leads to someone, I'm not sure who, starting a chain of causing stories and laws. So, not sure what that means, but then that would be followed by your analogy, which was part of everything that you were already saying, which would then be irrelevant given that you now have a sentence that closely matches what you intended to say in the first place. So, your sentence structure here needed a lot of work, but basically you're trying to say that the Father that's God and the world that's the pregnancy will then give birth to stories and laws?
Yeah. Figure it out yourself. If you can't understand the basis, I'm sorry, but you're stupid.
Now. Was it really necessary to say that if we can't understand the basis that we're stupid? Perhaps, it's just an idea, you could explain what the basis is in the first place. Now, that just eliminates the potentiality that people that might be stupid will now not be stupid anymore and then be able to understand what the bleep it is you're saying. Because my comment in regards to this video was a bunch of question marks. Because I had to think about this. I had to analyze it. And after doing so, I don't really see how this is proof of anything. At best, you have an analogy that you've come up with, one that's kind of metaphoric and full of symbolism, but that doesn't mean anything in and of itself. It's not proof of anything other than you've come up with a poetic way to say something, at best. And that's giving you all sorts of leeways that I normally wouldn't give anybody. So I'm going real easy on you here. The fact of the matter is, a good poem or good imagery cannot prove anything. So is this proof of God? No. Is it proof of anything? No. Is it something that people might understand? Maybe. Depends on what you mean by understand. Because you're not presenting things in a coherent methodology that would enable people to understand what it is you're trying to say. There's an essay that I like called When the Other Dancer is the Self by Alice Walker. And in it, she writes, "Indeed, I realized looking into the mirror there was a world in my eye, and I saw that it was possible to love it, that in fact, for all it had taught me of shame and anger and inner vision, I did love it. Even to see it drifting out of orbit in boredom or rolling up out of fatigue, not to mention floating back at attention and excitement, bearing witness, a friend had called it, deeply suitable to my personality and even characteristic of me." This is very poetic. What the hell is she talking about? Well, unless you read the entire essay, you probably wouldn't know. But her eye, one of them, had been poked out and so had this really weird look to it. And because of that, she'd suffered some hardships and self-doubts and things like this, which she might have suffered anyways, who knows. But through her child, who looks at her with zero judgment, she comes to see herself in this new light and forgive herself and her eye for being this way, and also to fall in love with herself and her eye. It's very poetic, very metaphoric, and you can make all sorts of ideas from this by critical analysis. I do think that we can critically analyze anything, even things that are kind of nonsensical, like what this person produced here. But doing so can only get us so far. Now, in the cases of authors who are gone, we can never ask them what they intended to mean with the phrasing that they used, and even if we could, they might not know. They might say it's up to you to figure that out. In this case, though, we have somebody who is around that we could ask, what the bleep did you mean by what you said? But he's already poisoned the well by saying that if you don't understand it, that is to say, if you ask questions, then you must be stupid. Meaning that he thinks he's above you in intelligence to some degree. And even if that's the case, hey, why not explain it to people? Okay, fine, they're stupid. Fine, whatever. Explain it to us then. Because right now, it doesn't make any dang sense. Even after critically analyzing it to the best of my ability. Did we have any proof in this video? Nope. Any tests to do? No. No valid and sound argument for sure. So, because of that, we should stay skeptical of his conclusions.